Good evening, everybody. My name is Bunny, and I'm the host of Quarter Blitz, and I'm joined with the whole crew this week with a lot better weather than what we had last week. Michael Rizzo, Raymond Saylor, and Andrew French. Due to technical difficulties and everybody being here this week, we felt like we would go back and touch on the NFL in the South as well as jump into the West, and that will give you our full preview for the 2026-2027 season. But, guys, how are we doing? Rizzo, glad to have you back. Raymond, you're back. French, you hosted the show, commentated, and everything last week because I just popped in and was a guest. Yeah.
Doing well.
Yeah, I'm
over
glad
here.
to be back.
Yeah, go ahead, Rizzo. That's what I was gonna say. Glad to be here. Glad we got Rizzo back. French, man, we appreciate all that you do, especially trying to hold it down last week, man. Big shout out to you there. Definitely, bud. We appreciate it. Big time.
Yeah, glad to be back. It's been an eventful 2 weeks for me, but finally back. Finally have some power. Glad to be talking sports with you guys again.
Hey, look, I'm doing good. Now you two are back. Maybe Michael won't fall off of the internet world this week. We'll recap a little and get at it for the West. I'm kind of excited to see that we're all back together again.
Shout out real quick to the boys playing in the North Green golf tournament. So be sure to go support the North Green Huskies this coming year. Football starts up in what, French? 2 weeks?
Football?
Yeah.
This week.
Friday Night Lights, my bad.
Friday Night Lights this week. North Green, Chucky Dope. Week 0.
Go support them Huskies.
Sorry, it's now week 1. Sorry.
Go support them Huskies.
Yeah. Well, French, me and you started on this last week. You took it a little further than I did. But let's get the other guys' thoughts. We'll chime in on the South. Start off with the Houston Texans. Raymond, kick us off here at the Houston.
Yeah, well, I know me and Rizzo's playing catch up here with with the South in general here, but I've got the Texans setting overall on the season at 11-6. Sort of still middle of the road. I can see them sneaking in, sort of like last year getting a playoff. But my big question mark is, of course, their quarterback play with Stroud, and then on top of that, their running back situation. I'm still a lot of question marks here for me with the Texans. So I've got them finishing middle of the pack there at 11-6.
For me, with the Texans, actually have as well, finishing 11-6. But this team is kind of just reiterating Raymond here. It's all dependent on CJ Stroud. I'm a big CJ Stroud fan, Ohio State fan, all that. But everyone knows last year he was pretty bad. He never regressed this rookie season. And I think if CJ Stroud can kind of revert to go back to where he was his rookie season and continue to get better, I think this team could be the best in the AFC. I really do. They have the best defense in the AFC. I would say the best defense in the NFL, but we're going to talk about a different team that has that best defense here eventually. But yeah, this team has got weapons everywhere. They got plenty of wide receivers. They've got a couple running back. If you don't know if they can actually number one guy, that being David Montgomery, but I think he can in this offense. But it's all just going to rely down to CJ Stroud. And with that defense that they have playmakers everywhere. Their backups are starters in most teams. If he could just be average or slightly above average, this Texans team is winning the division, and they're at least going to win 1 or 2 games in the playoffs. I really do think so. Defense, he doesn't have to be, he doesn't have to carry the team on his shoulders. He could just be, distributing the football, not making bad mistakes, bad reads like he did last year. And I think this team could be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we covered there last week, but I've got them going 9-8, guys. I mean, their schedule's pretty tough this year, so I mean, they'll have to prove it to me that they can win more games than what everybody expects them to this year.
Yeah, I mean, like you said it there, French, last week we talked on this, and I'll go ahead and put it out there. I have the 3 out of the 4 teams in this division right around each other. And I've got Houston sitting at 8 and 9. One of the big factors that I think is going to be their health. That has been a key thing with what we have seen out of Houston here in the past is them staying healthy. They're a lot like the 49ers. They have a lot of issues. They have a lot of trouble. They have a lot of injuries. Rizzo, I don't disagree. I think they do have a very solid defense in this, especially in this division. And they could make a run. It wouldn't surprise me if they get up our 10, 11 wins. But for me this year, I've got them sitting at 8 and 9. With the next team up in the South, Indianapolis Colts. Raymond, I know me and you was going back and forth about a trade that you was looking at in one of your fantasy leagues. And Keenan Allen actually signed today with the Indianapolis Colts, which was part of that, conversation about the trade deal. With that being said, I do think that type of receiver, Indianapolis, he is older. He is on the backside of his career. But I think that is a piece that they needed. And he's going to be able to go in and give them key snaps this year for the Colts. And I think we actually see him have a solid year because he could be legitimate that wide receiver 1. So Rizzo, kick us off here with the Colts.
I think they finished around 9 and 8, just above 500. I mean, Daniel Jones, I wouldn't say he proved it last year that he could be a really good quarterback, but he played great for about 8 great games. They got on a little bit of a losing skid there, and then he got hurt and was out for the year, and that team really wasn't the same ever since. The fact that they even went and got Phillip Rivers back out of retirement. I think this team's going to hover around 500. They lost some key players on offense and defense. The addition of Keenan Allen, I think, is going to be big for them. I think he's a good locker room presence, good for that wide receiver room. He's going to take that kind of space eater wide receiver that was Michael Pittman for Daniel Jones. The thing is, it's just I just don't trust the front office. I don't trust what they do with this team to make them go far. This team, they have talent. They should be able to make playoffs. Close to it, but I just haven't seen it from them. I mean, last year they kind of caught lightning in a bottle there, and really good to start the season. What were they, 8 and 1? Should have beat the Rams. Everyone was really high on the Rams. I was. And then again, that injury kind of just ruined their season. I think they'll just be around 9 and 8. Injuries, a lot of guys coming off injuries. Alec Pierce, they just re-signed to a large contract for a wide receiver. He's coming off an ankle injury. I just don't trust this team right now, and I think they're going to be 9 and 8.
Yeah, y'all know I'm not a Daniel Jones fan. I was pushing them against them all season last year, and it just I wasn't big with it. So they lost Zaire Franklin as well on the defensive side of the ball. That's a big loss for them. I mean, they did get Colby Wooden in exchange, but I think Zaire Franklin overall is the better of the two. You throw the Michael Pittman. I think that move looks a little more troublesome for the Colts now. Not really troublesome, I guess, but more of, dang, if they would have had Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, and now Keenan Allen, I might have a little different output on them. But just taking Pittman for Allen, yeah, Allen's the better of the two, even though he is, like Michael said, on the backside of his prime. I still don't trust it. With Daniel Jones throwing it, I've got him 8 and 9. Right around where Rizzo was. Man, it's pretty close, but I've got him below 500.
I just love the doubters on Daniel Jones. I mean, y'all talk bad about Daniel Jones, but he was, I mean, until the injury, the best quarterback in the league last year. I mean, he went how many games, didn't throw an interception. We had all these touchdowns. Look, I'm going to be a true believer in Daniel Jones. I mean, he is a dookie, so you know, but I've still got him going 6-11.
And you talk about me being the believer. Woo!
Well, that's beside the point. They getting rid, you know, yeah, Allen coming in, but I mean, you're talking. That's all you got, really. I mean, you didn't bring, or you got rid of Pittman. You're gonna have to put all this weight on Jonathan Taylor. He can't handle it all. I mean, yeah, you got a running quarterback, you know, that if he has to go, can go, but they're not bringing in the big, you know, they're not trading or going after these bigger, you know, wide receiver ones and trying to, you know, revamp that offense. They're just trying to stay right there in the middle. And as long as they don't go after these big guys, they're not going to win these ball games.
I really need Jonathan Taylor to carry the whole team and all on his back.
Well, so does the Colts at this point.
Yeah, just don't wear him out. I need him, you know, all the way through fantasy playoffs in both leagues.
Going to turn him into a new CMC.
Hey, I'd be good with that. Give me
I'm
that,
talking about injuries. They're going to put too much workload and he's going to stay hurt.
I need a Derrick Henry type of workload. Give me that. Yeah, I don't remember if I said it. I have the Colts sitting here at 9-8 also. That's, again, I have all three of these teams right there together. I know that when we get to the Titans, French will give me the grief of what I had last week. But jumping in here with Jacksonville, I think they're another team. I have them also at 9-8. Really, and with the Colts, the Texans, and the Jaguars, I truly believe that somebody can jump out there, take this league, and dominate this division. But I think they're all just kind of good at certain things, but average amongst the rest. And throughout the season, that's what we're going to see play out, is very average football. And they're going to beat some teams that they really probably shouldn't at somewhere through the season. But they're going to lose a couple of games that they probably should have won. Like a game against the Jets or a game against Cleveland, something, somewheres, they're going to lose those games. But yeah, Jacksonville for me, I've got them sitting at 9-8. I don't think that they added some pieces here and there. They got rid of ETN, but I do believe they went out and picked up a running back. It's just not coming to me at the moment. But
Chris
yeah,
Rodriguez Jr.
But I mean, the quarterback play there, it's been good. It's not been great, and it's not what we thought we would see coming out of college. So, yeah, Raymond, kick us off on this one. I'm going to leave French's Titans here in a minute.
Tootin, I believe, is how you say their running back is who's going to be their starting running back, but they really think they'll be a good 1-2 punch with Chris Rodriguez Jr. They pick up a good ad there, but what's more impressive is the front office moves with the Jags in the offseason. They went after several linebackers and several offensive linemen. Okay, that was very smart because they needed it. Trevor Lawrence was sacked a lot last year. But this is my next question. 2 questions out of that. 1, do we see Travis Hunter stick to one side of the ball now? About got to. Secondly, I don't know if Trevor Lawrence has got the it factor to take them to that next level. I think that they're putting the pieces around him to see what he can do right now. But my question mark's Trevor Lawrence. He is so 50-50, per usual in a lot of these NFL quarterbacks. But you just don't know, to me, which one you're getting that day. So with that being said, I've got the Jags finishing 6-11.
Dang, I think that's crazy. I think the Jags, the Texans are fighting to win this division, and right now I have it going to the Texans. But the Jags are going to be right there close to them, and I think they're going to finish 10-7, a game behind. This team is last year. They were pretty good. A couple plays away from beating the Bills in the playoffs. Sure, they may have lost Travis Etienne, but Michelle Tootin was already splitting carries with Travis Etienne at the end of the season. I think Michelle Tootin is going to be pretty good. Chris Rodriguez, I'm interested to see how that works out for them. But we've seen Lincoln Cohen-led offense. The ball goes all over the place. It's Trevor Lawrence has looked the best he's looked last year. He finished, I want to say, as a top 7 quarterback in fantasy football. I could be wrong, but I think that's correct. He has him on the run more often, similar to when he was in college. Just everything is better about the Jacksonville Jaguars with Liam Cohen at the helm leading this team. I think this team's going to finish 10-7, lose a couple games that they won last year. But I think they're going to be on pace to make the playoffs, if not win the division. It's going to be close between them and the Texans. I have the Texans take it, but I think it's going to be a good race to the finish for those two teams.
Yeah, I ain't got no faith in the Texans. Look, I'm sorry, I might be a little biased in this AFC South. But if you look at mine, I've got them finishing. See where to go. 4-13. I'm a little biased, I know, but as I said last week, Jacksonville's schedule is not easy at all. They play the Chiefs, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Chargers. They got the Broncos. So, their schedule's not real good, or for what they have. I've got them going, like I said, 4-13. They did come out and they did announce that Travis Hunter is expected to play full time in the secondary. I did see that last week. So, Trevor Lawrence ended the year last year really good. Can he carry it over to start the year? Who knows? But it's Trevor Lawrence. Raymond, you hit it. You'll see glimpses one week of a really good quarterback, turn around the next week, and he's a Cam Ward. But we'll get to that in a minute.
In the world of hot takes coming up, the Tennessee Titans. I think French has this team hyped as if Kobe Bryant was playing quarterback for the 98 Seminoles. If Kobe could have won a championship, Pittsburgh could have won the Super Bowl, and Florida State could have went on a dynasty run of 10 years. This is the hype of Tennessee Titans football coming up.
My gosh, man, I would be. You all would not play on Sounds Like Six with me for years to come.
Well. Let's just we went and we redone the entire coaching staff. We brought in Brian Daboll as the offensive coordinator. Brought in Gus Bradley as the defensive coordinator. Saleh is, head coach. Only issue I've got is quarterback play. They've revamped the offensive line. They signed Simmons to another big deal, so that way he's there. They finally for whatever reason, decided, oh, well, we'll give Simmons his money, but we won't give Henry his. And look where it got us. So, but I'm glad they finally decided to jump the gun, give Simmons what he deserves, one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league. You know, we've got talent everywhere. We got, you know, Gunnar Helmet tied in. He showed good signs last year. We draft Carnell Tate. I know Rizzo's big on. So, you know, then you bring in Robinson. You still got Calvin Ridley. And then you got DK and A.O. Manor right there for their little slot for their backups. Revamped offensive line. Brought in John Franklin Myers on the defensive line. Jordan Elliott. Jermaine Johnson. You know, I've got big hopes. I've got them going 11-6. Yeah, go ahead and say, y'all can say whatever you want to, but I've got them going 11-6, and that's my final take on it.
All right, I'm going to jump in here real quick since I gave my opinion last week, and then let these two be the tiebreaker. The Titans added a lot to this team. Like, I've got to scroll across the transaction list that they had made in the offseason. French has them at 11-6. I have them not winning a game until week 17 and going 2-15 to close the year. This is two ends of the spectrum. Raymond, Rizzo, give us your thoughts. Break the tiebreaker.
I'll jump in here. French, you do have a solution for Cam Ward, and that would be Marcus Mariota.
At this point, I'm about ready to take anybody.
He's back there. Guys, I don't think I'm going to be able to split the tie with you because French covered it, you covered it, made a bunch of big moves. I don't have them as bad as last year at 2-15. I do have them improving, and I've got them with the same record as the Jags at 6-11. So I'm going right down the middle between you two.
Wow. Yeah, I'm going to be closer to where Bunny is at. I have them around 4-13. I have won 2 more games. I like the additions. I like the hire. This team has got a lot of young guys in a lot of pivotal positions, and I think they just have to learn. And it's just like 4-13, 6-11. I think is the peak for this team, at least right now. Like, that schedule is tough. They face some guys, some teams that are going to be tough to play against. You got the Eagles. You got really early in the season. That's not going to be fun. The Bears, they're going to be a hard team to go against. Just a lot of difficult teams, and I just think right now, 4-13 is where I got them sitting at.
You notice neither one of them caught what you said, Michael, right?
What?
Week 17.
Yeah.
Week 17 was going to be their first win. Look who they play week 17.
Yeah, there's a little bit going to come up to that here in a minute. There's a little bit of a reason. I think they keep somebody out of the playoffs. But yeah, and we're going to get to it here in just a moment. We're going to jump into the NFC South.
The Saints?
Week 17, they play the Steelers.
I've got
Both
the Saints.
You better look at that again. It's not right. I'm on CBS Sports right now, and week 17, we're home to the Steelers.
Well, if that's the case, it makes my argument even better. I didn't even realize that.
That's why I guess nobody caught it, because let me look at Pittsburgh's schedule.
That may be a time.
I got the Browns.
Are you looking at last
Played
year's
the Steelers week 17.
Yeah,
That's on my fault. That's my when I done the list, that was my fault. Yeah.
Well, that's okay. We'll still take that win week 17.
I had them playing the Saints on the spreadsheet that I done, and that was going to lead into what I was going to say here in a little bit. Yeah, big typo, big mistake. That's my bad. French, you called that one out, and it couldn't have happened any better that it was the Steelers, so I'm going to get shit about that for a few weeks. But going to the NFC South here, we have the Atlanta Falcons. What are they doing at quarterback? What are they doing, period? On some depth charts, you see that Tua's the starting quarterback. Others, you may see, the other guy, Michael Penix Jr. I don't like that. I like the method of if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one. Strong believer in that. The only time in real recent record, not even recent, I seen that work is when you had Tim Tebow coming in as the second string quarterback for the Gators. They made that work as a two-headed monster that year. But for me, I have the Falcons sitting here finishing the year at 4-13. I think they're going to be the bottom of this division. I think that they're going to take a step back, and there's going to have to be a lot that goes on in Atlanta to turn this around. I do think Matt Ryan is the great person to have in the front office. I don't think he's had enough time to do what he needs to. And since Matt Ryan was a quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, we have not seen the Falcons be as dominant as what they was. They could have been cursed, as Danhausen would say. You are cursed by the Patriots. So, Rizzo, yeah, give me your thoughts.
I have them winning one more game than you do. I got them at 5-12. I think they're going to take this team's regressed a lot. I think Kevin Stefanski's not the best hire for what they. I just don't like the pairing there. And then quarterback, you have Tua Tagovailoa and Michael Penix Jr. I think Tua will probably start the year as the quarterback, the season as QB1, but I bet you by week 5 it's Michael Penix's job until he gets hurt inevitably, and then it's back to Tua until he inevitably gets hurt, and then we see some rando out there. I just don't like it. I think the offense is going to regress. There's going to be a lot more running, so if you have but I don't like the odds what it looks for Drake London. I don't like the price where he's at in fantasy there with whatever's going on at quarterback. Like I said, I just don't like how Kevin Stefanski, his scheme just does not fit what the Falcons are doing. And with the personnel they have now, I think this team is setting itself up for the future, I guess, by having a pretty bad season here and drafting their future quarterback next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and you were talking third string quarterback, they signed Trevor Siemian. So there you go. But picking up Brown Robinson Jr., it's not a big name, but I do think it'll help Bijan in the backfield a little bit. Take some snaps off of him. I do think that's a better replacement than Tyler Algier that they had, who ended up going to Arizona. But they went and got some veteran offensive line with Jawan Taylor. So I thought that bringing experience will help a little bit with the pressure of the quarterback situation. Rizzo, I agree. I think it's just a matter of time before Penix is in there too. I think it's time for him to hang it up and focus on something else. I do hate it. His career kind of got cut short almost a little bit with all the concussions. But overall, I do think it's a little bit better year for Atlanta here. I've got them finishing the season at 8-9.
Well, I've got them going 7-10. Rizzo, you hit it. I mean, this quarterback situation is going to go back and forth. According to CBS Sports right now, they have Tua as the starter, but Michael Penix has got the injured sign beside him. And according to this, number 3 would be Mr. Cooper Rush. They have brought him in from Dallas. So, and the way the injury bug goes, we might be seeing another, Dallas Cowboy with Cooper Rush leading these Falcons, and might win a couple games because of his hard nose and that grit that he's got. But I don't have him finishing last, but I've got him finishing close to it. So I got him going 7-10 to end the year.
All righty. Well, let's roll on into Carolina real quick, guys. I'll throw this one out there. We know that this is a weaker league. The NFC South is probably the weakest right now in the NFL. So I've got Carolina winning it again this year, finishing just slightly above the Falcons at 8-9. But I think there was some key additions here. DJ Moore, he was acquired from the Bears. I think that's a big pickup for them. Gives Young another target. The thing that I'm not too for sure about there was, to me, it's kind of like the curse. Going to get Geno. Like, I know he's your backup and everything, but Lord, he got the same coach fired twice, just the old joke goes there. But I don't see this team really regressing or making much progression, because at the end of the day, it's still Carolina. I feel like the front office has got to go there before we really see some big changes come into there. They've got to find, to me personally, they've got to find a quarterback. Young is not that guy. He is making the most of his second run because he got benched. And after he got benched, we've seen a whole different Young come in and play. And I'm pulling for him. I do like the dude. He's very humble, seems like. So I wouldn't mind seeing him finish a little bit better. But I do have him at 9-8. And good pickup also with Dawson Knox. So I thought that was a steal as well.
I've got them finishing 10-7. I have them and a team we're going to talk about here soon, finishing tied, and one of them is going to get the division on a tiebreaker. I think the division winner is going to win the division at 10-7. And I think I have two teams at 10-7. But yeah, this team it's got a good team around Bryce Young. O-line is solid. Linebackers are solid. They're really underrated. Just this team get Bryce Young. It all depends on Bryce Young. Like every team, it always depends on the quarterback. But Bryce Young, and this is a major break. He's gonna have a good year, just not lights out year. You're looking for. Until we get to this team, so I can tell you who this team is that I'm going to say is between. But I don't know who to trust more. I really don't trust anybody in this division currently.
I've got Carolina finishing just over 500 at 9-8, winning the division. You got Bryce Young. He does everything he can do. He's already turned this Panthers team around. They're starting to become that team that you can't just overlook anymore. Hall of Fame game, me and Michael talked about it last week. Right now, they've got Kenny Pickett as the number 2 and Haynes King as the number 3. But if you watch any of the Hall of Fame, Haynes King outdone Kenny Pickett.
Scored the game winner, run it in.
Exactly. So, they got Hubbard, they got Jonathan Brooks to back him up. They're not going to be bad, but once again, it's the NFC South. You got 3 teams that'll be right there fighting with each other all year, and somebody will knock somebody out.
All right, guys. Well, let's roll on into Bunny's Bucks. He should be back to finish this one up. Rizzo, kick us off with the Bucks. I know that's probably the other team you were talking about, so kick us off with them.
It actually isn't the other team. It actually isn't. I have the Bucks finishing 9-8. I think it's the three best teams in the league are them, the Saints, and the Panthers. And I think the Bucks, man, they lost so many guys. The defense a lot of question marks on it. Todd Bowles is on the hot seat. I think he just gets to a winning record at 9-8 because Baker's trying to play for a contract with the Buccaneers or with another team. I just have him finishing 9-8. A lot of mouths to feed on offense now with the lack of Mike Evans. You brought in Kenny Gainwell. Pretty solid for them. I don't know what's that going to mean for Bucky Irving. But then, I don't know. This team has some issues now. It's injury prone, wide receiver. Defense. Sure, you got Ruben Bain in there. I think he's going to have a really good year. Probably be one of the favorites to get Defensive Rookie of the Year. But I just don't trust the head coach at this point. I do think they're going to win record at 9-8, but they're not going to be. They're going to be third place in this division.
Well, I've got them slightly under, going 8-9. Once again, I think one of them is going to knock somebody. One of them is going to knock the other out of the playoffs and out of that NFC title, South title. Yeah, Bucky's back. They picked up Gainwell. Emeka Ibuka and Godwin, do they stay healthy? No Mike Evans. It's just. I think the biggest thing with them will be health. But I won't deep dive into this one. We'll let Michael talk about his Bucks.
Yeah, I agree with you, French. Bonnie, you were talking a minute ago, about what team was it? I think it was the Colts turning into the 49ers with the injuries. I think it's more the Bucks, man. No offense there, but dude, you take injuries like you did last year and you just kept holding on for hope. They come back for a game and they were right back out, man. I think keeping Kate Otten is big for you guys. That's my big thing there. But overall, I got you guys at 8-9.
All right. So before I get into my Bucks, I'll give you the Panthers wrap up here. One guy that I'm really excited about because of where he come out of college with Alabama, and he went to Houston for a few years. He come out, he was diagnosed. He was on the IR for the whole season. Then he come back for a little bit, but that's John Mechie. I like this guy coming into the NFL in his rookie year. Hated what happened to him, but I really think that guy is a guy that can go into Carolina and really strive. It sets up for a guy like him that's maybe not had the best road that can really rejuvenate his career. And I think Carolina is a place that he can do that. But to keep it short and sweet, I have the Panthers sitting here at 8-9. I think that's where they are at the end of the year. Jumping into the Bucks, fire Todd Bowles. Fire him. Get rid of him. I don't want him at all. I've said that for a couple of years now. Well, ever since he got hired, I wanted him fired. There has been too many other guys that I would have liked to have taken a chance on, given the opportunity to see what they could have done in their coaching career. What did we do? We took the defensive guy, put him as the helm. There's no enthusiasm. There's no anything. He is subpar. If we wanted to be a team that is subpar, we could have had 10 other coaches by now. I wanted him fired. I wanted Mike Tomlin. That right there, you give me an opportunity to compete in the playoffs. year after year with a winning record in this division. Mike Tomlin would be a legend in Tampa, just what he will be in Pittsburgh. He could be the greatest thing, minus Gruden, really, that has seen Tampa. The only reason why Arians got his Super Bowl is because of Brady. The organization has to do something. Thank you, Gruden, for coming in on the back end of Tony Dungy's career and winning us the Super Bowl. Thank you, Tom Brady, for making phone calls and bringing in players to get us a Super Bowl. It was not the head coach either time. I'm a Gruden fan. I wanted him at Tennessee. Our biggest issue, I will say it, is the front office, and we have got to make some changes. Give me a new head coach. I have them at 9-8. I have them just over 500. And that is biased, but that is because we are in the worst division in football, and how half of these teams are mediocre, and how we thank God that Carolina Panthers is not in a Newton year. Atlanta doesn't have Matt Ryan at quarterback, and we have Saints that don't have Drew Brees. We have a shot. Okay. We may not sign our quarterback. Okay. He's one of the better quarterbacks that is out there. If you got rid of Baker, but you fired Bowles, draft me one. I'll give up Baker for him to get fired. Vita, one of the best linemen in the league. He's wanting traded. Okay. Why? Probably because, we're mediocre. He wants championship. I understand that from a player's standpoint. Go get you money. Go play for a team. No hard feelings, because I know what the organization is going to do for you. I've been a Bucs fan since I've been little. I've been through the Jameis Winston's. I've been through the Brad Johnsons. I've been the 30 for 30. Turn this around in a shitty division and give me a fucking shot at the playoffs every year. That's it. I'm giving us a shot because this division is that bad. The last team that we have, the New Orleans Saints. Their wide receiving room is a little bit bugged up. Godwin's my guy that's over the hill. That hopefully comes back because we did get rid of Evans. But no, Olave and their number 2. There's going to be some issues there. They're going to be a little bit banged up. Is Shot, is he the guy? I don't know. He turned it on at the end of the year, and he showed some real talent. I think he could be a serviceable quarterback. I don't know that he is your quarterback of the future. For the Saints, I have them at 6-11. I'm going to turn it over to the rest of the guys to give me their thoughts. And this is where Travis Etienne went, and Kamara restructured his deal to be able to stay with the team and play with the team, because he is a Saint. That Alvin Kamara is a Saint for life, and that is, a true player that's giving something to the organization will do to stay with that organization.
Well, I'll get mine out of the way and let everybody else go. I've got them finishing 4-13. All you're really looking at is Olave. You got a little help with Jordan Tyson out there, but right now, Cam Jordan's hurt. Bunch is hurt. So, this will be that bottom feeder out of the NFC South. they'll win the games that they're supposed to win, and then they'll lose the rest of them that they're supposed to lose. So obviously, I'm sitting at 4-13, and y'all can take over.
Yeah, I agree with you, French. 4-13 is what I got them at. To me, they didn't draft a quarterback, so they got their faith in Shaw this year. Good luck with that. That's all I can say. I mean, he's not terrible. He puts up decent fantasy numbers, but I mean, it's not who you want leading your franchise, I don't think. Just a personal opinion there. But the pickup of Travis Etienne, you know, couple years ago when Kamara had a little life left in him, and I think he's still got a little bit, but Kamara is no Kamara of old. We're starting to see the slowdown in him, unfortunately. Fun, still exciting player to watch. But yeah, 4-13. I'll move on like French.
Dang, guys, I don't maybe I'm smoking crack or something. I don't know, but I have the I really do. I think this team, despite with the Panthers, that offense, yes, Tyler 10-7. We forget how, even though they finished, I forgot where they finished last year, but they were eliminated from the playoffs with 3 or 4 weeks left in the season, and then they looked like the best team in that division those last 5 weeks. They beat the teams ahead of them. I think 3 of those 4 final games. They looked the best out of the division. A lot of here. Kamara was solid for him. Now you add in Travis Etienne, who just had a career year in this Kellen Moore-led offense. Kellen Moore has had some great offenses in his tenure as a coach, offensive head coordinator, and now a head coach. His second season. I just think, I mean, it all depends on Tyler Shuck. I keep saying it's all dependent on the young quarterback at helm. And I don't know what I've seen, but I've seen flashes from this team. This team just gets beat a lot. And they're always going to rely on the best quarterback at that point. I do think Baker's the best quarterback in this division. Everyone knows that. Baker's by far the best quarterback in this division. He just doesn't have a team around, especially on defense. Saints, they have a nice young offense, solid defense. We're forgetting this defense was a top half defense in the league last year. If they just stayed to where they were on last year, this team should be finishing top 5.
All right, let's move on to probably the best division in the NFL. I almost said college football, and I'm really surprised nobody had a comment about my rant about Tampa Bay. But we'll kick it off here with the Denver Broncos.
We hear it every Tuesday at this point.
All right, well, let's kick it off to the Denver Broncos. One of their big notable signings is Jalen Waddle. I think that this is a good fit to go out there, get this guy, bring him in, and let him be a true wide receiver 1 for this football team. I think that is something they needed. They had Sutton, they had Mims, they've got a few other pieces here, but having that guy that can be a dog in this wide receiver room, I think they went out and got him a guy. I see him taking a big step forward being out of Miami. So I've got the Broncos sitting at 13-4 upon the year. Yeah. French, kick us off with the Broncos.
Oh, you hit it. The big brain or the big sign, with Jalen Waddle. That's going to be a lot. That's going to take a lot off of Cortland Sutton. You got Bo Nix back. He's going to be fully healthy. Hopefully, that ankle's good and strong now from last year. Man played through a lot. The big thing that stands out to me for this Denver Broncos team, and I don't know how long it'll last, but Sean Payton is not calling the offensive plays. He has turned it over to Davis Webb. So we'll see how well this will go. I mean, we've known Sean Payton to be the play caller for how long? You know, as long as I can remember, Sean Payton has called the offensive plays. Of course, at defensive side, you got Surtain going to be anchoring that defense. My big thing is, does J.K. Dobbins stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, I think, in my opinion, with that offensive line Denver has, he could be probably one of the tops in total yards. I mean, we've seen glimpses of it, you know, when he is healthy. You know, him and R.J. Harvey in the backfield, two good running backs. Of course, got big Evan Ingram at tight end. I mean, he's just a big body, very good hands. Before you flipped it over, I went to go see what I had them because I don't remember. But I've got Denver finishing the year at 13-4. I think, in my opinion, they're going to be the team to beat in that AFC West, as long as they all can stay healthy.
Yeah, and I think to add on to what you're saying there with J.K. Dobbins, French, they've got faith in him too. They signed him to a 2-year, $20 million, 8 guaranteed. So they're paying him pretty good chunk of change there. So I mean, to me, that's saying, hey, we got faith in you to lead this team at RB1. I'm okay with that. Bo Nix adding another weapon with Waddle. I think this team's going to look really good. I was not big on them last year, but man, the run that they actually made all the way through the playoffs, they earned my respect. I think Bo Nix does another fantastic job leading this team. But I've got them 12-5 this year.
Yeah, I actually have them as 13-4 as well. I'm pretty high on them. I think they win the division in this division. Out of everyone in the AFC, I feel like they're the one that did the job of filling any needs that they needed. I think everyone else kind of lost more than they filled more. As for the Broncos, they maybe lost. I mean, sure, they lost linebacker, but then they replaced them immediately with another different linebacker. So it's just this team is led by the right coach, Sean Payton. Offense did good last year. Kind of shocked people by the Bills, the playoffs, and this team is 13. We're going to win the division. We're going to be I think, favorites in the NFC against.
Well, on to probably the team that has the most media following out of all of them, the Kansas City Chiefs. Not only did they sign Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce this offseason, they got Kenneth Walker, the reigning MVP, reigning Super Bowl champion. Yeah, Kansas City went out and signed Kelce to a 3-year deal. They got Kenneth Walker to a 3-year deal. They got Tyquan Thornton to a 2-year deal here. They went out and added some more pieces on this team. And one of the question marks that we've had for a few years has been their running game. They had Pacheco. They had Hunt. Hunt, before the off-the-field issues, looked like he was going to be their running back of the future. Running back could take them 5-6 years into his tenure. But they've struck nothing. They went Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And finally, they went out. They got a guy. Kansas City is hunting for the Super Bowl this year. Are they every year? Yes. But they went out and got these pieces they needed to really make that push. And to make that push, a team that we will talk about very soon, they've got to go through them to get there. They would have to play them in the Super Bowl. And they went out and got some offensive guys to help. So, guys, give me your thoughts on Kansas City. I do not like the record that I have them at, and would probably change it, but I have them at 16-1, and I don't think that that's right. I believe I'm high on them.
Dang, son, I had them high, but not that high. That was out there. But question mark for me is, of course, how's Patty going to look coming back from injury? But secondly, you named a bunch of the signees there, and of course, Kenneth Walker. I don't have much to say there. I wasn't big on him in Seattle. I truly feel like he turns into another Pacheco. I feel like he needs a 1-2 punch combo. He's a 1-2 running back. I don't think he's a RB1. But I won't fret on him much here. One thing that was significant to me is what they did on the defensive side of the ball in signees. They signed a safety, cornerback, and a defensive tackle. And I truly think them were the big pieces that they were missing. Chris Jones, we know what he can do already on that line, but they added Tonga on a 3-year, $21 million. This was a big piece for them, I thought. And building up that secondary and getting Gilman, another big pickup for them. It's going to hurt them losing McDuffie, though. It just helps the Rams, man, and that's the team that they're going to have to go through, and they gave away a key piece there. So overall, I've got them sitting at 13-4, winning this division.
Dang, you guys are really high on them. I have them with a winning record at 10-7. I think they lost a lot more than they gained. They lost all 3 starting fees that they had, both starting corners and their starting safety. They lost all of them. The safety went to the Bengals, and their 2 starting corners, McDuffie and Cook, went to the Rams, and are now their starting corners, and they were pretty good. And now they replaced them with guys I think are all worse than the guys they replaced them with. So for me, I think they're going to regress a little bit here at 10-7. I think the age of the O-line, the age of Travis Kelce is going to keep showing up. I think this team's going to be better, especially at running the football with Kenneth Walker there. I think he's going to do a pretty good job. Now, a lot of people are thinking, oh, he might not be that number 1 guy. This is the first time the Kansas City Chiefs has paid a running back a good amount of money since Jamal Charles way back when, and he was very good when he was with the Chiefs as an all-pro running back. And I think he's going to do pretty well for them. So I like his fantasy outlook here, if that's what you're trying to look for, as long as he stays healthy. But I think this team's going to be right kind of in the same situation where they were in last year, as long as Pat Mahomes stays healthy. I have them finishing 10-7 because I do not like the defense, and I think they've regressed a little tiny bit on the offense. But I mean, let me change that back. They regressed on defense. They got better on offense, but I think that defense is they're not gonna be able to keep up.
Well, I've got them. I went a little high, but I've got them finishing 13-4. Raymond hit it. How does Mahomes look coming back from injury? Can he get them back to where this Kansas City team has always been? Talking about the signs, if something happens, Mahomes is out, they're going to have to rely on good old Justin Fields. He's bounced around, now from Chicago to the Jets, and we saw what it was like in the Jets. But I mean, the Jets is the Jets, and usually that's a team you go to die and end your career. But I think it was big for them to go out and get Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is always, Raymond hit it. He's always been a 1-2 punch. But my thing is, Charbonneau went out last year. Look what Kenneth Walker done in the playoffs. Look what he done in the Super Bowl. He is that running back that can be your number 1 and don't need a 1-2 combo like he had in Seattle, and they can go. Does Kelce get back to normal? The wedding's over. All that all that nonsense is finally passing. They, you know, that's all we've heard in the last 2 years is, you know, Kelsey Swift. Is he back to where Travis Kelsey is supposed to be? I looked it up earlier. He finished the year with only 5 touchdowns. And that's not like Travis Kelsey. Of course, you got Rasheed Rice and Xavier Worthy out at wideout. Karlaftis and Jones on the D line. You know, that right there, two big defensive linemen, really good. And Rizzo, I don't know what you're talking about on the secondary. I mean, they picked up L'Jarius Sneed. I mean, who else would you need? But I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm glad he's out of Tennessee. I'm glad he's away from Nashville. But I've got them going 13-4, but I do have them finishing second in that division behind Denver.
All right. Moving on to a team that has kind of historically been that rough around the edges, hard knocks, that famous silver and black, but they've probably got the nicest guy in football in the quarterback room, the most well-spoken man, the LinkedIn kind of guy, and that's Mendoza. And the Las Vegas Raiders, it was said today that he had taken quite a bit of the snaps with the first team in practice. I do think that we see him before the end of the year, if not very early in this year. But for me, I still think it's going to take time to get the Raiders to where they need to be. I have the Raiders sitting at 2-15 this year. I think that they probably take a step forward. Just kind of how everything played out, I have them at 2-15. Rizzo, give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I got them at 3-14, just like barely winning anything. It's just this team; they're very young. I think Kirk Cousins is going to start majority of the year. It sounds like what was being reported is that Tom Brady's really trying to tell them, hey, let him sit, let him learn. Talking about Fernando Mendoza, he credited a lot to him sitting to being where he, how good he was. I think they'll be 3-14. I don't have the depth chart on me right now, but I couldn't even name you a wide receiver on their roster currently. I really, besides the tight end, who are they gonna throw to? Like who's out there catching passes? I like what they did on the O-line. I like what they did in the defense. I think they made some big upgrades, but I think there's still so much that they could do, and I think they're gonna just keep plugging at it, fixing. I think head coach, great hire, will lead this team. Better morale in the locker room. I think this team is getting set up for the future. You're not going to see a night and day difference yet. This team has got a lot of holes. They slowly fixed them in free agency, and I think it's still got a lot more fix.
Yeah, and on top of that, you got the whole Crosby drama. You've already seen, that going on. Him hitting the quarterback's arm, Cousins, I think. Yeah. So you got some drama already going on there with the Raiders. I think Tom Brady might be yelling it, but I think that the Raiders are going to be in such desperate need by the end of the year. We do see Mendoza rather sooner than later. Not much else to say. You boys covered it, but I've got the Raiders sitting at 5-12, a little bit better because I think Mendoza plays a little bit sooner than anticipated, and I think he wins some games in there late that he shouldn't maybe.
Well, yes, I've got them at the bottom of the barrel, finishing 1-16. Brady's done some stuff, and bringing in Clint Kubiak as the head coach. Drafting Mendoza, they've got Genty. I just don't. It's going to take Kubiak a little bit and Brady a little bit longer to get them where they're winning football games again. Raymond, you hit it. This whole drama with Max Crosby, comes out and says, hey, I don't want to leave, but then, hey, I want to go. Get rid of him. And then all this goes down, and then they end up keeping him anyway. Max Crosby is too good of a defensive end to be playing for the Raiders. I would like to see what he could do on a team like the Rams, the Bills. I mean, he'd I think would be really good pickup for the Bills because we know what they got on the offensive side, and they need some help on that defensive side. A contender. He's too good. He's another one of those guys that's played. He's been dedicated. That black and silver. But the man is good enough and deserves to be on a championship contender. I think you're right, Fernando. Mendoza, he will see the field early because we know how Cousins is. He'll fall apart. I think Mendoza, he might not right off the bat be able to do, what we've seen him do in Indiana, but I think by probably week 3 or week 4, Mendoza will be your starter. It'll probably help them a little bit. But Rizzo, you brought it up. You look at their wide receiver depth chart. Nobody stands out wide receiver wise. So you're looking at all he has to throw to is Brock Bowers. Shows here that their receiver 1 is Trey Tucker. Who's Trey Tucker? You look at it, he's a 4th-year guy.
He's on my fantasy team, I think. Don't be hating.
He's a 4th-year guy out of Cincinnati. Jalen Naylor out of Michigan State. It's his 5th season. You don't hear much out of him. So they don't really have nobody but Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty. That's what you're looking at on the offensive side of football. So that's my reasoning of them going 1-16.
Well, French, first and foremost, do not say Crosby to the Rams. They do not need another piece on that defensive line.
Well, I was just throwing out teams, that are good.
I was thinking the exact same thing, Bunny. Like, dude, if they got them, like, I just call a season, man.
Put him at like middle linebacker.
In Nashville, I'll take him in Nashville.
I'll take him in Tampa.
To go along with that 16, 17, and 0 season you got going on, French.
That's right. 11-6, get it right.
All right. To the final team in the AFC West, the Los Angeles Chargers. I think that this team, they take a step in the right direction. They went out. They picked up. I like Njoku. I liked him in Cleveland. I think that Njoku on a team like this could really show what he's capable of. Because you've seen splashes in Cleveland, but with him being there, that's kind of it's Cleveland. So who can shine? They re-signed Khalil Mack. I like that. They went out and got Tyler. I will screw this name up. By that, I ain't even going to try it. They got a center for 3 years to help that O-line. They went out and really targeted that defense, the O-line. I really believe that they take a step forward. You've got the running back coming back. You've got these pieces. Yeah, they don't have Allen. Conversation that me and Raymond had there a few days ago. I really think that Ladd McConkey, I have him looking like his rookie year. I think he's going to eat up a lot of targets. I think Quentin Johnston's going to take a step forward. Herbert's always been a above average quarterback. He's been a good quarterback. he has not shown greatness yet. He is solid. He is there. I'm a Herbert fan. Yeah, and I think that the Chargers going to sit here at the end of the year 11-6. So, Raymond, give me your thoughts here on the Chargers.
I have them pretty close to you. I got them finishing 10-7. Hampton coming back in this offense is going to be big too. Hopefully he can stay pretty healthy this year because he was on pace to have a standout season last year. Fits in great with this Harbaugh offense and how that goes. Like you said, they built, they got a good center there, but they also got a guard and an offensive tackle as well. So they did focus heavy on that line. Again, they're building up for Omari and Hampton there. And then I seen that they got Keaton Mitchell to add some depth, more depth in that backfield. Not a bad pickup really for what they're wanting with Harbaugh. I mean, he was averaging at roughly 6 yards over 3 seasons there in Baltimore, and he was also behind King Henry. So I think this helps them. And with that being said, like I said, I've got them finishing 10-7 on the season. Good division.
I've got the Chargers finishing 12-5, second in the division behind the Broncos. Guys, I think we're forgetting. Sorry. I think we're forgetting who their offensive coordinator is, Mike McDaniel, guys. We're going to get the Mike McDaniel offense mixed with Jim Harbaugh. That is going to be some awesome must-see TV right there. Obviously, we know Jim Harbaugh loves running downhill between the tackles, hard-nosed, old-school style football. And then you got Mike McDaniel, the most opposite coach than Jim Harbaugh, and they're going to be leading a team together. I think this is a recipe for success. I think Ladd McConkey has a fantastic season. I think running backs, Omar and Hampton, Keaton Mitchell are going to be involved. You brought up David Njoku, Rondé Gadsden, who they got. I mean, this is the first time Mike McDaniel's had a really good tight end since he was with the 49ers as an OC. And those teams that he was coaching, they went to Super Bowls. I think the Chargers are a team that you got to look out for in the AFC. They always tend to do really good they always tend to look good on paper. They always tend to look good in the beginning of the season. But when it comes to December, they always fall apart. And it's the same thing you could say with Mike McDaniel-led teams. But I really do believe that this team is a team to be reckoned with in the AFC. I am just missing out on the division because I think the Broncos are just that much better. I think the Broncos and Chargers games are going to be must-watch. Really good defense against a really good offense. The only thing I worry about with the Chargers is if their defense takes a huge step back with the departure of their former defensive coordinator, Jesse Minter, that's now the head coach of the Ravens. He was a great defensive coordinator. He's going to be a solid head coach in the NFL. Looking forward to see what the Chargers become with the new revamped staff that they got.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Chargers, I think the biggest thing is you're looking at Joe Altback. Probably one of the best offensive tackles in the league. After, that bad ankle injury, come back, went through surgery, kept him out the rest of the year. New defensive coordinator, Chris O'Leary, taking over. You brought up, a really good defense against a really good offense, but that defense for the Chargers was one of the most disciplined defenses in the league. I think they were one of the lowest teams penalized on the defensive side of the football all year last year. Omari and Hampton being back, that's going to be big for them, especially with Mike McDaniel. I can't wait to see what Mike McDaniel can do with Justin Herbert, because he's shown glimpses of how good he can really be. He don't care to stand in the pocket if he has to, but he's another one good on his feet. We've seen him mature and be more of a pocket passer over the last year. Then first thing he wants to do is one go through this progression and just look at one receiver and be like, oh no, I'm gone. I'm gonna take off on my feet. Because that's what he was used to at Oregon. It's what they run. So with him and Mike McDaniels being together, and then with Omarion Hampton being back, you got good receivers like McConkey, Quentin Johnston, and Trey Harris. He's going to be that guy that's going to be looked over. I think he's going to be, a big key piece for Herbert. And then that defense, you got, Thule, Tyre Tart, if he can stay healthy. That's a big offensive lineman, or defensive lineman right there in the trenches. Khalil Mack, Darwin James, a strong safety. I mean, this Charger team, in my opinion, is going to be over. I mean, I think, my opinion, all around good football team, both sides of the football. With that being said, I do have them finishing just outside of the top at 12-5 as well. What's going to hurt them? These three teams right here is going to hurt them because they have to play each other twice. So that's the biggest thing that's going to hurt the Chargers and Chiefs and the Broncos. That division is going to be up for grabs within three, and we're going to have somebody upset somebody at the end of the year to knock one of them out of the playoffs.
Rizzo, you was talking about John Harbaugh and Mike McDaniel. I need them, not Jim Harbaugh and Mike McDaniels. I need them in like a used car commercial, like selling cars, selling something, some type of flashy off-the-wall energy drink. Jim in his khakis with Mike McDaniels with like the Miami swag going on. I need that. I need that in my life.
Jim Harbaugh buys them khakis from Walmart still. My stepdad read that. That's how he became a fan of Jim Harbaugh. He buys his khakis from Walmart.
I'm just not a khaki kind of guy.
I just think it's cool that he ain't out spending millions and hundreds of dollars on a pair of pants. He's like, give me to the Walmart.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm here for that.
All right. Final division here, we have the NFC West. And we're going to start with the bottom feeder of them all, the Arizona Cardinals. They go out. They get Minshew, they get Algier, they get Bourne, they get Duvernay, they get pieces on the defensive side of the ball. And what do you have? A 2-15 record. I think that even though that they got rid of Kyler Murray, which I was against Kyler Murray, not a fan. I don't think he really strives in Minnesota. I have them at 2-15. That's about it. I think they struggle, and they're going to take a while to be back to relevance.
Yeah, I have them 2-15 as well. Yeah, 2-15. There's a couple of pieces here and there on that team. Love is definitely one of them. He's that Bugatti in the Lamborghini or Bugatti in the trailer park. That's what he is right now. And he's really good. We saw it in the preseason, but they have no O-line there and no one else. Marvin Harrison has looked nothing like he's looked in college. Maybe third year he finally figures it out, but I don't think so. It's just this team they got a lot to do to be a good team. So 2-15 is my record.
And Love's banged up right now.
I think anybody be banged up with that offensive line. So, I mean, they've got the pieces that they need. They went out and they brought in Jeremiah Love. And You got Tyler Algier. Still got James Conner and Trey Benson. Once they get back, they've got pieces. Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson. They've got the pieces, but they don't have anybody to throw it to them. Don't get me wrong. Brissett shows glimpses. He's a great backup, but he's not a starter. Gardner Minshew is not a starter. But the one you might want to look out for, they might throw in there every once in a while, be that old boy from Georgia, Miami. That Carson Beck might get him a little playing time because we know Brissett will get hurt. Gardner Minshew, you never know what you're going to get out of him. I mean, we saw, when he was backing up Mahomes, he looked good. Goes to Jacksonville, then he looks like crap. So they've got the pieces that they need. They just got to find them a good quarterback to go along. Because, I mean, you got probably, the best tight end in the league with Trey McBride. Got a good receiving core. But you need that one piece. If you don't have the captain of the field, you can't win football games. And until they realize that in Arizona, because, even with Kyler Murray, it's hard to have a quarterback that's 5'10". And you got offensive linemen that are 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", and you can't see over them. That's been my complaint about small quarterbacks all my life, but that's another thing. But I have them actually finishing 4-13.
I'm going to go right between y'all. I'm going to go at 3-14. So we're all pretty well on the same path. French, you nailed it with the quarterback situation. Beck, still a lot to be determined. I said it many, many times. He is a Joe Flacco in the making. And then you got Jeremiah Love. Yeah, getting Algier, sort of helped, not much. I think that their coaching staff, front office there needs some major shakeup. But, 3-14, not much to say there.
All right. Moving on to Raymond's Mama's Rams. A lot of things that have come out of the Rams this offseason. I guess Myles Garrett was one of them. I guess Aaron Donald practicing with them is another. I think maybe you could say that Trent McDuffie was possibly another piece of that. But I think they're going to be average. I think they're just going to be mediocre. I think this is probably going to be the team that everybody's going to have to beat. I have them at 16-1.
Mediocre. Yeah, I was
mediocre.
Gonna say,
Just
the heck,
average.
man?
Just
are you
average,
just trying to be different or something?
Yeah, like where are you going with this? Because you're just about to eat your words after the third week.
No, I have him at 16-1. I think they're going to lose a game or two here and there. Picking which game or two they may lose was very difficult.
Yeah.
And I actually have them picked to slip up on the road in week 3.
I do too.
In Philadelphia.
Yeah, I do too.
Home against the Texans, away in Tennessee. That Philadelphia game, I think, is their slip-up game. And then they get back on track. Could they slip to Seattle? Could they slip to the 49ers? Depends on if the 49ers are healthy and where they're at in the year. But give me 16-1. Legit.
Yeah, I like that. I have them 16-1 as well, only because I don't think we're going to see a 17-0 team. So they have to have at least one loss. And for me, I think that one loss is going to be against the Seahawks. I know the Seahawks lost a lot of guys, but like they just always play close. For years, they've just always played close. And I think even with the additions that the Rams have made, I think they and the subtractions that have happened to the Seahawks, I think they play them well this year. I think they play them the best out of anybody this year. But yeah, 16-1. Guys, last year I was a big fan of the Rams. Don't tell me I was wrong. I was just a year early. So yeah, Rams 16-1, obviously winning the division.
Yeah, Rizzo, I'm right there with you. I've got them going to Seattle and getting beat. You hit it. I mean, that game's tight every time they play, and I think the difference will be playing in Seattle with the 12th man. That'll be their one loss. You got Kyron Williams and Blake Corum in the backfield. Two good tight ends in Parkinson and Tyler Higbee. I mean, what can you say about Puka Nacua? I mean, man's a freak. Devontae Adams still there. They're going to be something else. Going to be the best team on the defensive side of football. You got Kobe Turner, Poona Ford, Omar Spates, of course, Myles Garrett. But that big question mark, when is it going to be confirmed? When does Aaron Darnold say, okay, I'm back? Because it's not been confirmed yet. So, he flew his strength and conditioning coach out. What was it? Or sometime last week. So, can he get back into game shape? Can he get back to where he wants to be before he announces that, hey, I'm back, and the Rams sign him to put him on that defensive front? That's going to be ungodly anyway.
Jared Verse went and worked out with him after he retired, and he said he was done, and basically Aaron Donald it was his pre-workout, and it about killed Verse. So I think he's got the game day shape. I mean, I don't think that's I don't know what he's waiting on. The anticipation, I don't know. But yeah, guys, I like both those losses, so that's why I actually have them at 15-2. So I see losing both of them games. So other than that, they're Super Bowl champs in my prediction.
Yeah, I really think that if the Rams don't win it, especially with the addition of Aaron Donald, whenever that happens, it's going to be a letdown. Yeah. And French, to answer your question, I think it's just going to be, let's make it through the preseason and all that. Let me kind of do as I want. Don't sign me to any obligation. I'll see you week 1. It's kind of how I'm looking at it. Next up, San Francisco 49ers. If they stay healthy, I have them at 14-3. That's where I have them this year. If they don't, I see them at 7-10. Easily. They have the pieces. They have some injuries already stirring around, but this Shanahan offense in San Francisco, they have a tough schedule just because of the division that they're in, but they also play the likes of the Browns. I think they're way better than the Carolina Panthers. You've got the Giants, you got the Texans, Titans, even my Bucks there. I have them definitely winning that game. But it's more of a lesser schedule for the San Francisco, and I have them at 14-3, and they got Mike Evans. Give him 1,000 yards, send him off into the sunset.
I'll jump in there. I've got them at 9-8. I feel like they're gonna get injured. They're gonna get beat up. Same stuff with them. I do like some of those receivers. You know, the Evans pickup, but I like the Christian Kirk pickup, man. I'm a fan of Christian Kirk there, so I like that pickup. And then keeping Pinheiro, big signing with the kicker there. Oh, Eddie. But yeah, that's where I've got them 9-8, sort of same thing. I think getting rid of IU maybe gets rid of some of that drama there, but we'll see. Debo coming back to him for one final run too. That's pretty cool. So full circle moment for him.
I've got them at 10-7. They've already got the injury bug. They always do. They have a lot of pieces. It's just they have a difficult schedule, a difficult division. I don't see them taking a game from the Rams. I see them splitting the series with the Seahawks. This is a tough division. I mean, minus the Cardinals, we could forget about them, but this is a really, really tough division with three teams that should be playoff teams. And I think the 49ers finished 10-7.
I've got 49ers just a little bit better. I got them at 11-6. Well, you brought up the injuries. You're looking at the depth chart on CBS Sports. They've already got 24 people that's got the injury signed beside them. Of course, you know the one's definitely out for the year, and being Ricky Parasol. We definitely will not see him all year. But the other ones, I mean, you're going to see it's probably just a pulled pinky toe or something. You know how these professionals are. If they get one little scratch, they want to go on the injury list. But the biggest thing is, my notes I've got, can they stay healthy? If they can stay healthy all year, they will be a dark horse in this division. They might sneak up and bite somebody, but it's already going that way. Hey, they can't stay healthy before preseason. And just throw this out, the Titans did beat them in their preseason game, so just gonna throw it out there. We might have only scored one touchdown and kicked a bunch of field goals, but that's beside the point.
And again, how did Cam Ward look?
5-12. 5-12 in 2 series. It's not real good. I think I can go out and do better than that. But
Mariota, baby.
You got Brock Purdy, you got Mike Jones. They got 2 good. I mean, they're not standouts, but these 2 quarterbacks, they come in, they're winners. They want it. They'll do what they can. But I mean, when all said and done, they can't stay healthy. We've seen it out of CMC over the past 5-6 years. He can't play a full season without getting hurt. So I've got them sitting at a mid conference at like 11-6. They're going to be better than what we expect, but they're not going to be a contender in that NFC West division.
So the final team that we preview for this NFL offseason, the defending Super Bowl champions, the Seattle Seahawks. Just like the 49ers, I have them also sitting here at 14-3, and a big shocker for you, both teams lose to the Rams, and they split their games between the two. I think they win the rest. I think Seattle is still a very, very good team. They're paying their guys. JSN is locked into a massive contract at wide receiver. Went out, picked up some more pieces, which all these teams had. And it's just seeing what they can do with them. Of course, we know the loss of Kenneth Walker to go to Kansas City. But you have Charbonnet in the backfield. He was showing good signs. And some people said at the early portion of last year and the year before, Charbonnet could take over that role from Kenneth Walker. People was questioning Kenneth Walker and his performance in Seattle. So now it's Charbonnet's job to step ahead and see what happens. Guys, give me your thoughts on Seattle before we jump into our guest the player, and I'll set us up for next week.
For me, I'm going to have them sitting at 12-5. I think they're going to be a really good team. Just they have some subtractions that they lost some players that not too keen on them losing. They're still going to be very good. Still going to be in the playoffs. They're just a little bit behind now the Rams. I have them splitting the series with the 49ers, and then losing both to the winning one to the Rams. That's where I have them at, but it's going to be a good team. I just think they lost some playmakers that they should have kept.
Yeah, I think a big piece is Shaheed. Sign him. I think that helps the receiving core guys. I think that is a huge pickup. That goes along with JSN, and you still got Cooper Kupp out there, and now you're bringing Shaheed in there. I mean, that is 3 solid wide receivers. You throw the ball in Kupp's area, you know as well. Kupp's still Kupp. He's just not the main guy anymore. So I think that was very big for them. Losing Walker, I'm not big on Charbonnet. I got to see that. I think if they would have been able to have picked up a running back, guys, this team right here may be as deadly as the Rams. Maybe not on the defensive side of the ball, but we're going to see another great battle from the Rams and the Seahawks regardless this year. But I think not having that RB1 kills them. Besides Charbonnet, it's not sold on him. Need more. So with that being said, we're going to see them air it out a lot this year. I think they will be one of the top teams in NFL with passing attempts. So we'll see. But overall, I have them finishing 13-4.
I've got them finishing 15-2. Just missing out on that division championship. My biggest question is, what Sam Darnold do we see? Do we see the Super Bowl champion? Or do we see, the Minnesota version? We hit on it. Walker's out. Boys, Charbonnet's not going to be back. He's still going. It's probably going to be. You're looking probably end of October, 1st of November. They haven't even set a date yet. I looked it up. He did have. So he tore his ACL on January 17th. Didn't have surgery on it until February the 20th. Standard ACL surgery, you're looking at 8 to 12 months. But we're, NFL, they're going to have the best surgeons. They're going to have the best, rehab things that they can go through. But they're going to have to be relying, besides on the arm of Darnold, you got JSN and Rashid that pick up a Rashid Shaheed and Cooper Kupp, but you're going to have to rely on Jadarian Price. That's going to be their number 1 running back until Charbonnet gets back. I think he's a second-year man out of Notre Dame. Played behind Jeremiah Love. Him and Jeremiah Love split time at Notre Dame. So they've got some pieces that they don't have. They're going to have pieces that, they're waiting on to get back. So I see them going 15-2. Of course, I think both of my losses for them is to the Rams. Or one's to the Rams, and their other loss is to. Oh no, I do have them. No split. Shoot, I don't know. I've got it messed up. splitting with the Rams and slipping up and losing one game there late in the year to knock them out, maybe on the road to San Francisco.
I lost my mouse. All right. So great job, guys. A lot of information there, a lot of picks that we have made over the last couple of weeks. Glad that we could get you the South and the West tonight. And next up is, again, this fun little game. I dropped the ball this week, so it's not as good as what I have been doing. But we're going to go with the Guess the Player. And since this wraps up all of our NFL previews, it is across all divisions, all teams, and we'll get back into some of the neat stuff. And next week, I'll try to do a fantasy one again. Since next week, we're going to jump in, preview our fantasy thoughts of the year. We'll have to talk about that and kind of see how that goes and how we want to do that show. But next week, it'll be all about fantasy football, getting us started for the drafts. All right. So this week on Guess the Player, this guy went to, let me start off with this. He was born in Temple, Texas. He went to high school in Dunbar in Temple, college, North Texas State. He was drafted first round, 4th overall pick. He played 12 seasons in the NFL. He was a 4-time Super Bowl champion. He was a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. NFL
Is this Joe
defensive.
Green?
That's
Yeah.
what I was going to say. Mean Joe Green,
I knew right off the bat when you said North.
Texas State.
Is he not? He didn't choose. Yeah, he didn't choose Joe Green, did he?
When you said
Yeah.
4-timer, I was like, okay, it's Steelers there. And then when you said defense, I was getting ready to say it too. So
Was I supposed
Yeah.
to wait, or was
I
I
don't know.
missed? Okay, good.
No.
I
Well,
didn't figure he
you
would
can
give
tell
us something.
Rizzo's back. It didn't last very long.
I didn't figure he was
No.
going to give us something that easy.
Yeah, I didn't either, so I waited a little bit.
Well, it was kind of one of those that I wanted it to be easy that you overthought. It's kind of what I was hoping for.
I
Screwed
was
that one
starting
up.
to overthink it.
Yeah.
I about did.
I was thinking, like, who else is from North Texas? And then you're like, 4-time Super Bowl champ. I'm like, nah, there's no way.
That's when I
2-time
went.
Defensive
Yeah.
Player of the Year. Yeah.
I was hoping I would get into the coaching. I felt like if I got into the coaching portion, then it may kind of help out. But, yeah. So you all got that one pretty easy. I've gave you some pretty difficult ones here across a couple of shows. So, yeah, I'll have to get tomorrow's set up for sounds like 6. But yeah, guys, do you have anything, any other comments for the previews that we have done over the last few weeks here?
Oh, sounds like 6. You just mentioned it tomorrow. Big show. Got the Big 10.
Yeah.
Go check it out. It's probably one of the most powerful leagues behind the SEC right now. So, need some feedback for sure. Give us some comments.
So real quick, go ahead, Rizzo.
Oh, no, I'm looking forward to what you guys have to say about the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Ohio State
Who's your
sucks.
You're gonna
who's
like me.
everybody's Super Bowl matchup? That's something that we have yet to talk about. Who's your Super Bowl matchup?
I mean, I think everybody's is going to be the same out of the NFC.
Who do you have playing the Rams?
Right now, I have the Broncos. Right now, I have the Broncos. I think they're just the most complete team in the AFC. Like, I want to say the Bills, but that defense, man, I don't trust it. I really don't. The O-line got a little bit worse. I think they do win that division. I don't see them getting past the Broncos. I think a sleeper team is if they aren't cursed like the years past, the Chargers, man, they have a pretty good team. I really do think so. And then this is a off the wall one, but if the Texans can have the same defense they had last year, and if CJ Stroud can be a solid quarterback, that defense can take them far. I think the AFC is wide open. I really do. But you're kind of chasing the Broncos because I think they're the most complete team right now.
I agree with you. I think Broncos, but then my second pick out of that would be the Patriots running it back, being right there again. I've got them as my second behind the Broncos, and if I had to pick a dark horse like you did with the Texans, I would have to give it to the Chargers. I think the Chargers could potentially be that dark horse.
Yeah, Raymond, I was with you with the Patriots. You know, they're going. I think, in my opinion, they're going to run it back. In my opinion, besides the Broncos, they're the other team in the AFC that will give. You know, I see the AFC Championship game coming down between the Broncos and the Patriots.
Yeah.
See, I think that it's going to be the Patriots, but I also think it's going to be Kansas City.
I think I called Kansas City's season last year. I think they bounce back this year, though. I do. I think their head's in it. They just seem, you haven't heard a whole lot about them in the off season. They've been quiet, rehabilitating with Patty. I think Chiefs will be back up in the contenders, but I don't give them the edge over Broncos, Patriots yet. And Rizzo's kind of got me leaning. He's got me. I forgot about McDaniels being that OC there and the Chargers. So I kind of like that matchup with Harbaugh and the pieces that they have there in Charger land. So that would be my dark horse.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all.
Mahomes is going to have to do better than hitting his center in the back of the head in practice with nobody attacking.
Yeah, and you were talking about Harrison earlier, French, and that receiving core. Man, have you seen how many drops this dude has had already this offseason? It is ridiculous.
Do you guys think anybody challenges the Rams at all in the NFC?
Seahawks.
I think they can.
I think the Seahawks give them good battles. I think it'll be fun to watch, just like it was last year. 100%. But other than that, I mean, maybe the Lions. We know how they can't play on the road though.
There's only 3 or 4 teams I think can be in a close game with the Rams, and I
think you're in NFC. If you ask me to pick a team, not the Rams, it still comes out of that division between them, Seattle, and the 49ers.
We know it's not going to be nobody out of the NFC South.
You're damn right.
We know it's not going to be one of these 3 teams that we pull for that's probably going to be playing against the Rams. So,
no,
absolutely not.
It would not shock me if me and French is competing for a top 5 pick at the end of the year.
I will say I was impressed by the way Drew Aller looked the other night, though.
Yeah.
Hey, I told you guys about Drew Aller.
I like Drew Aller in Penn State, but I was really thinking Will Howard over Drew Aller. But, boy, I was wrong on that.
Look, I'm about to the point where I want Mitchell Trubisky taking the snaps.
No, you do not. No, you do not. Trust me. Trust me, you do not.
Hey,
did you watch any of that preseason game for the Titans and Cam?
I did not, but I guarantee you, though, Mitch Trubisky is not that guy.
We'll give you Mason Rudolph back.
Yeah, we'll give them to you.
No, we got Will Levis. I mean,
Bunny,
good.
All right,
hey, don't
guys.
worry.
that's just as bad.
Don't worry, you can go get Baker at the end of the season.
We can get you a new coach to go on that rejuvenated coaching tree.
No,
All
we
right,
don't,
guys.
We don't need your coach. We don't need your coach.
Yeah, we don't either. Good show. See you guys next week. Tune in tomorrow for Moonshiners Racing with Rizzo, Zachary, and Aiden. Me, Raymond, and French will be joined by Robert. We'll have a guest on tomorrow night for the Big Ten show. Tune in. Both shows will be live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. 8 o'clock sharp. See you then. Have a good night.